And so his name was Antonio. And one of the days, an elder in the MTC group had the spirit and was like, on fire and excited. And so they're on the way to the park. And he, in his broken Spanish, actually leaned forward to Antonio and said, "Do you want to be taught?" Because if they did get any referrals in the park, they would write them down and then they would send them out to the areas where the elders and sisters were serving. And we would try to find the people and teach them if they were interested.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, so he leans forward and he asks Antonio, he's like, "Antonio, you take us every day. Like, would you like the elders to come?" And Antonio's like, "Sure, yeah, they can come by my house. That's fine." And so this new elder that's in the MTC tries to write down his address, and it was so like almost I couldn't understand anything that was on the paper. Like it was like yellow house, tree, behind store, like one part of the street name. And I was like, we get this in our area. And I look at my companion, I'm like, there's no way we're going to find this guy. And so like it was so hard. And the addresses were hard in the Dominican Republic in general, because, it was a third world country and it's not extremely organized. Sometimes there's like streets behind streets behind streets that don't have names and things like that. And so that, you take a dirt path and you follow it and you pass the mango tree and take a left and, stuff like that. And so we had it in our bag, but we weren't really trying very hard to find him. And not because we didn't want to, we knew that it was going to take a while. And so we had other appointments and things that we were doing, but we had a lull in our schedule one day and we pulled it out and we said, let's go try to find Antonio and see if we can figure this out. So we knew the general area. We went over and we just started talking to people and asking them like, "Hey, do you know a taxi driver named Antonio?" And so like people were like, "Nah, I don't know him," or whatever. And then finally this guy's like, yeah, I know Antonio. And so he walked us back and we went back into this alleyway and we found the house. And so we go up, we knock, and Antonio opens the door, that was a blessing in and of itself, because he was such a hard worker. He was constantly working. He was a great provider for his family, but he would work constantly. And so we talked to him. He walks up and his two young sons walk up, and they were young at that time, probably I would say, 9 and 11 or something like that. And so we introduced ourselves and he was like, yeah, come on in. Like, he was with the elders and sisters every single day. Super friendly, great guy, super nice to talk to. But we see behind him his wife, and she didn't seem quite as happy to see us. And so she was like hesitant, like giving us a look like, "What are you all doing in my house?" And she ends up walking up as we're talking to him, introducing ourselves, and says, "Hey, he can't get baptized if you're going to expect me to get baptized." It's like, if this is like a family thing, I have my church. I go to church every Sunday. Antonio doesn't really come with me because he's working and other things, but I have mine. And if we need to get it together, I'm not getting baptized. So you're wasting your time. And we just said, "Hey, like, we are not here to like start anything between a family by any means, but we also don't require that everyone in the family listen or is taught. Like, it's an individual process, an individual decision." And Antonio was kind of like, "Hey, just let them teach, like let them talk to me," and stuff like that. And so we were sensitive that we don't want to drive a rift in the family, but Antonio was all about it. And she kind of got to a point where she's like, "Fine, you can teach him, but I'm not listening." And we were like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine."